Hey, what is going on there YouTube? This is the Game Guy, and today I am going to be bringing to the full drop list for this week, which is week 7 of the full winter season. Now this week we do have a collaboration, but it's not the greatest in my view, just in general, because it is the Vans collab, which sometimes they do have okay pieces, but I think recently, or over the past couple of seasons, the collaboration with Vans or collaborations have just gone downhill a little bit. But the highlight for this week is going to be the fact that we have the full tees releasing this week, so hopefully they bring it up a little bit, or bring this week up a little bit. But without further ado, let's just get straight into this. So starting off at the top of the list, we're going to have the big logo beanie. I picked up one of these pieces, I believe it was during last year at some point, and then just obviously sold it on. I picked up like a green colorway, and the one they released last year was a reflective big logo beanie. In this piece, if I only go for one tee and then something else, I might just end up picking up either the grey or the green colourway in this beanie, because obviously the forest green, dark green colourway has become ever so popular, or more popular, since the release of the box logo crew neck in that colourway, and they don't really release too often a grey or an all grey beanie, so that's why I think that colourway might also be good just to pick up. I obviously wear a lot of grey things as well, so it'd be pretty decent to get that to then have it match a lot of things. Obviously second on the list is going to be the Pillows tee. I think this is definitely the most popular tee out of all of the full tees, to be honest, depending on what colours. Oh, they're there. I was going to say, depending on what colourways are available, we'll see how it does. Personally, I think either the black, possibly the ash grey, and then obviously the white will be good colourways to pick it up in. But obviously at the same time, more out there colours like orange and burgundy or teal might also be pretty decent to get it in. Personally for me, I will probably pick it up in ash grey. We then move on to the Chapman screwdriver set. Yeah, it's basically a screwdriver set. It's pretty plain and simple. Obviously it does come in handy to have a screwdriver set, but at the same time you can just pick up any plain old one pretty much. So yeah. We then have the Kent military hairbrush. I actually thought this was okay along the side of like the branding and just how sort of easy and simple it is. This is one of the other pieces that I was possibly going to just pick up depending on its retail instead of the beanie, or as well as the beanie. I don't know whether I get tee, beanie and then the hairbrush and just try for like a triple cart or something. But yeah, I definitely think this is a piece that is like a future type item where people look back and like regret not getting it, sort of thing. We then have the Life tee. Yeah, it's plain and simple sort of thing to go over, and it's high up on the list. I don't know whether people have it high up on the list because it's a funny piece, or whether they are going to be going for it, but it does have small Supreme like text below the graphic. It's not that bad, to be honest. We then have the Mercenary tee. It's got this sort of like, I'd say like devil looking font in my eyes. It also looks a lot like, I believe it was the Celtic tee that was like the summer tee or spring tee that was released. It's got the same sort of like range to the graphic. So yeah, for me, I feel like this piece could do quite well, but overall, a lot of pieces are now just bought to sell straight on, so there probably isn't going to be a lot in a lot of these pieces, or a lot of profit available, because people do try to flip them basically instantly. We then have the Bible tee. I'm sure they've done the same sort of design as their Bible accessory, except the Supreme box logo is above and a lot of the other like bits and pieces are in different places. If it was their exact like Bible, if they'd done that, I think that would have been quite cool, but this is still has the same aspect to it of it being like the accessory, so yeah. We then have the American picture tee, or the American made picture tee. I don't know enough about this piece to give like a massive opinion. I did look into the person themselves, but at that, I don't really have a giant opinion about this piece. From the lookbook, we then have the piping crew neck that is going to be releasing. It says that the logo is obviously embroidered. For me personally, it doesn't do anything crazy. I do think that either this like magenta type colorway or the black colorway look okay, but overall, it's not really a piece for me. We then have the Delta logo hoodie. Yeah, they released the other Delta pieces like the keychain, which I think is still in stock, but oh well. At the top of the hoodie, obviously it has embroidered Supreme. Overall, I don't know whether they're going to go or not. I think that the grey natural or this pink colourway are pretty decent in it. but overall I don't know whether they're going to sell. We then have the Vans collaboration being the Skate High Pros, which are the FTW piece. They're not really for me, but along that lines I did see that somebody said that this colorway, being this navy and gold or blue and gold colorway, is something that they used to do a lot and they haven't done it in a very long time, so it's rare to see. So on that level people do like that sort of colorway, but in general for me it is really nothing special. And yeah, in comparison to past Vans collaborations, I don't think that it stands out too much. We then have the We're Back tee. If I knew more about it or whether this has any actual meaning overall, then I would say a bit more of an opinion about it, but to me it just looked like a person holding a sword, which I thought, you know, could be quite cool for people, but at the same time it'll probably just end up bricking, unfortunately. We then have the Supreme Incorporated tee. Nothing amazing for me personally, so I'm just going to move ahead onto the Delta logo skateboard. To be honest, not a lot of skateboards have been flying this season. This piece could sell, but to be honest, if they charge the price of like an artist skateboard, which could be like 68 or 78 pounds, then I don't know if it would sell. If it's 56 pounds, then people might be willing to purchase it, but at that I think people are going to like put the other items as a priority over a skateboard deck this week. We then have the Heroines tee. I am a bit of a fan of this piece. I wish that it was in a long sleeve as well, as I think that would do a bit better. And I think personally, just for wearing it, because it's now turning into the winter time or full winter time, where it's starting to get a bit colder, I'd prefer to wear a long sleeve over just a tee. For the last piece that is coming from the full tees, we have the Cheese tee. People said they didn't really want this to end up like the Shears tee. I don't think it's going to be like that, or I don't think it's going to end up like that, but unfortunately it isn't that high up on the list. I think if the dislikes were a little bit less, it would be higher up, but that happens with pieces. Now we're just going to move on to the pieces from the lookbook that have like 500 or so to like 2,000 dislikes a piece. A couple of these pieces I actually liked, but unfortunately they just haven't done well. So we're going to start off with the Script Logo 6 panel. It doesn't look like anything special to me. It looks like it's been like purposefully almost like aged, which some people they like. To me, I'm not a massive fan of it. So we're going to move on to the Marrakesh long sleeve top. Again, for me personally, it's nothing special. Since it is a long sleeve top, it's going to be in that upper range for the retail of like 68 to like 80-ish pounds. I don't know whether or not this is embroidered. Last time I said that it wasn't embroidered on a piece, so yeah, normally sometimes they do embroidery, but with this it doesn't look too much like that. So yeah, I don't think this piece is going to go. Personally, I just think that people aren't willing to fork out, you know, the price that you could get two sort of tees for. I don't think people are going to fork out just to get a single long sleeve. We then have another skateboard being Nosebleed skateboard. I think if there was like a series of these, they might sell, but unfortunately I just don't think that there is that sort of market for them. We then have the Delta logo beanie. For me personally, I was a bit disappointed that this didn't have the same sort of colours as everything else that they've included. If they've been going with like the multicolour and then the black colourway or like the almost transparent colourway, I wish they did like just one multicolour on one colourway, but unfortunately they have not done that. We then have the Macar zip-up jacket. I was actually a fan of this sort of graphic. I wish they did this on a long sleeve or on a tee or something with it going over completely. I think that might have done quite well. But overall, it just hasn't got the support there. We've then got the corduroy skate pant. I'm not really a massive fan of corduroy pieces, and this whole star graphic, which I think was included on the Nike or Nike collaboration, I'm just not a fan of, so I will move ahead. We've got the crown chino pant. Again, there's nothing special about it. I think it's on the back of the pocket or something that it's just got a crown, and that's that. So yeah, it's nothing great. We then have the batik print rayon shirt. For me personally, this is just a bit of a yikes. I don't really know anything about this graphic. It almost looks like they've got like seahorses and things like that and seashells on it, but it's probably not that in any way. So for me, I'm going to move ahead. We then have the painter pant. It looks almost like the same as the McCaw piece, but it's not. It's a different graphic, which is the Hyder work. So yeah, for me personally, I'm not a massive fan of it. It has the same sort of look as the McCaw piece, but it isn't it obviously overall. And yeah, it's got quite a couple of like Egyptian signs and things to it, but then you mix into some different areas. So to be honest, I don't know what to make of it, and it's not the piece that I'm a fan of. We then have the exact same piece on a work vest. Work vests tend to do well, but I think because this piece hasn't got the same sort of like backup as a lot of other work vests have had, it's just not going to do too well. Also, the fact that it's nearly got 6 times the dislikes to likes, people really just aren't liking it. We've then got a textured stripe polo. That could be an embroidered logo, but apart from that, there are no redeeming qualities to this. And then we've got a textured stripe bell hat to match as well. Some bell hats are okay. For me personally, this does not look too great. And yeah, that is going to cover the drop list. As per norm, comment down below what you liked, what you disliked, what you'll probably be going for this week, and what you think of the full tees and the Vans collab in general, and what you just think of this week in general. For me, I like the beanie, the pillows tee, and the hairbrush. Apart from that, I would also possibly go for the heroine's tee, but I don't know at that. So yeah, that is going to cover this video. If you enjoyed, like me, much appreciated. Other than that, I will be bringing you to a live cop tomorrow. Whether it's for 1, 2, or 3 pieces in the end will depend on some of the retails, depending on some retail prices, because some things could look like they could be £10 or £20, but in reality be like 40. And I don't think that'll be the case for this, hopefully. But yeah, that is going to cover it. My week 6 item did arrive, but I'm still waiting on my Palace pieces so that I can do an unboxing that includes more than just like one item. But yeah, that is it. I'll see you all next time. Peace.